Thank you very much, David. Appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, everybody, and welcome. Today is October 29 of 2024, and this means we will call to order the regular public meeting of the Lawrence County Board of Commissioners. Note for the record that the meeting is being live streamed and recorded, and we request if you have some type of an electronic communication device, if you please put it on vibrate or silent. We'd appreciate you doing that. We always begin the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we'd ask you to remain standing for a moment of silence. Commissioner Kennedy, could you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll have a brief moment of silence. Thank you all. Vanessa, could you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Sayado?
Here.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Here. Oh, I'm sorry, Dan. I'm so sorry.
Your last name, Dan.
Boy, that means I'm moving up in the world. I don't know why I did
I don't
that.
know about that.
Why? Excuse me. I'm here.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes, I'm here. Yeah, my apologies.
You want to get this meeting
I
over
guess
quick.
so. Well, we have a quorum, and we'll note that we do have two opportunities for public comment, one in just a few moments and then one prior to adjournment of the meeting. And you're welcome to speak both times or one of the two times, or if you're just here to listen, that's also fine. We ask that your comments be related to county government matters and that you try to, if you can, limit your time to about 5 minutes or so. We have row officer reports, but today none of our row officers are in attendance. So that does take us to public comments, and I'll open it up and see if anybody has any public comments at this time. Seeing and hearing none, we'll move on. Under fiscal and contractual, we do have a repository property that has been brought to our attention by our tax claim office. This is a parcel in Slippery Rock Township, and Mr. Paul Berry has placed a bid on parcel number 32902-946, located at 3033 Gardner Lane in Slippery Rock Township. The supervisors of Slippery Rock Township approved the bid. And by the way, the amount of the bid was $511.16. The township supervisors approved Mr. Berry's bid on October 15, and the Laurel Area School Board did likewise on September 11. So the other two taxing bodies have approved it. It now comes before us. If all three taxing bodies do give their approval, then Mr. Berry is able to take the property upon which he has made his bid. Vanessa, what number do we give this one?
328.
328. Dan and Chris, you've heard the background on this. Would one of you care to make a motion on this resolution?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. Chris, any concerns?
No.
No? Dan, anything? Okay. We'll go ahead and ask for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sayado?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have, as we do at most meetings, warrant registers that have been submitted to us by the county controller's office, which are listings of the checks that have been cut by their office. These documents are dated October 18, 21, 22, 23, and 24. And Dan and Chris, take whatever time you need if you want to look them over. Whenever you're ready, I could take a motion for us to accept them.
I move we accept the warrant.
I'll second.
Thank you both. Are there any questions or concerns about the warrant registers? Hearing none, I'll ask Vanessa to call the roll, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Motion carries.
Thank you, Vanessa. We have in our packet the minutes of the October 22 Commissioners' meeting. Gentlemen, please take the time you need to look them over. And then when you're ready, I could take a motion for us to adopt the minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of the October 22nd meeting.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, gentlemen. Are there any concerns or questions on the minutes? If there are none, we can take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Motion carries.
Thank you. That takes us to Commissioner reports and comments. And today, Mr. Kennedy, you're the first one up.
I actually got nothing. I'm gonna leave it to Chris. He was everywhere over the weekend. I was kind of under the weather, so I didn't go too far.
Okay, well, thank you, Dan. Commissioner Sanada.
Yeah, I think it's actually a very busy weekend. Starting Friday, I actually had an opportunity to join Commissioner Vogler out at Westminster College for the nurses dedication, but I'll let Dan talk about that because he was one of our speakers there. And I did have an opportunity on Saturday. I did multiple events. I got to go back out. I did it last year and I do it this year. I was actually downtown for the Community Wise Trunk or Treat. That's a big event in downtown Newcastle. And it was nice to see about 40 different community organizations supporting that. And we actually had nice weather this year. If I can recall last year, I think it rained. But that was a nice event. I went down to Elwood City for their Halloween parade. That's usually a good sized event out there, and had an opportunity to see some of the Elwood City football team. They were honoring them at the parade. This is the first time they've won the championship, I think 50 years, if not longer, and a bunch of nice kids. So that was a nice event. Then I shot in the car and shot out to your neck of the woods, Dan, the New Wilmington Halloween parade. And that is something out there. And it's just the number of participants. And last year was the first time I ever got a chance to go see it. And once again this year, between the band, and cars, and the everything else. So I'll look forward to seeing you back there again next year when you're 100%. And I know it's such a great tradition for New Wilmington. So I had a chance to do that. So those were my busy activities on Saturday, and that's pretty much it.
Chris, thank you. One thing you didn't mention, and I'm sure Mr. Kennedy and I would both want to offer our appreciation to you. You attended yesterday's SPC meeting, so neither of us could go. So thank you for doing the show.
There was a lot of activity. I was just thinking weekend, but that's right. That's starting the new week. So yeah, that was actually a good meeting with Chairman Fitzgerald and a lot of the other commissioners from the 10 county region, and good organization. And they're doing a lot of positive things, and it's going to pay a lot of dividends for Lawrence County. So
we appreciate your taking the time to go to Pittsburgh yesterday on the county's behalf. So thank you. Let me note just a couple other things over and above what Commissioner Sanada reported. We did last week, all three of us concluded our county bridge inspection tour. Loretta, you would remember we did that a couple years ago, and This time we broke it into thirds, so we weren't as pressed for time. We did 9 bridges on 3 different days, and it worked out very well. And have found with the cooperation and assistance of Taylor Engineering that overall our bridges are in good shape. The ones that the county owns and maintains. And a lot of credit goes to Taylor Engineering for their staying on top of conditions of our bridges. Commissioner Sanada mentioned that Westminster College dedicated their nursing simulation lab last Friday, and they had a big turnout for that event, and we were both able to attend. And again, Commissioner Spielvogel, you would remember that we earmarked some American Rescue Plan dollars toward that project, so
Yes.
it has come to fruition,
Very good.
and they were very thankful.
Good to know.
Very, very
Yes.
thankful. Also, last Friday, we hosted a group of students who are homeschooled here in the county. And we spent about 2.5 hours with them and gave them a tour of our courthouse. And want to thank President Judge Motto. He took about 25 minutes to meet with the students and talk with them, which we greatly appreciate his taking the time to do. And then yesterday, and forgive me, Chris, you may have said this when I was chatting with Vanessa, but the Rotary meeting. You want to talk about the Rotary meeting that we attended? Oh, you were, well, along with Jesse Putnam, who is our Veterans Affairs Director, the Newcastle Rotary held their weekly meeting downtown at the Confluence, and they recognized a gentleman who resides in New Wilmington Borough. You've probably met him, Wally King, who was a veteran of World War II, was shot down in Germany and was a POW for a period of time. And boy, the gentleman is just as sharp as a tack, looks like $1 million. I wish I looked as good as he looks. But we want to thank the Rotary Club for honoring him, because tomorrow's his birthday, or Thursday. Yeah, Thursday's his birthday, 101. Yes.
Wow.
Yes, and so we thank Jessie Putnam she has a good, close working relationship with him as well. Finally, I've been asked to note that the Plain Grove Presbyterian Church, located in Plain Grove Township, will be celebrating their 225th anniversary as a church, and they have a service this coming Sunday, November 3, at 11 a.m. at their church. So when they were founded, that area of the county was actually Mercer County at the time. So we congratulate the Plain Grove Presbyterian Church for their many years of service to the community in Plain Grove Township and the surrounding areas, and we wish them many more years of success. So that's my report for the day. We'll move on to new business, and our first resolution, and maybe Vanessa, if you can help me with the number.
329.
Thank you, I lost track. 329. This comes to us from the jail, and Deputy Warden and former Commissioner Spielvogel is with us. Loretta, do you mind coming to the mic so we can pick everything up? Deputy Warden Spielvogel has a proposed resolution regarding GED assistance for inmates, but I'll let you give us all the details if you could.
Thank you. Good morning. As you know, the Lawrence County Corrections does offer a wide variety of programs for inmates wishing to participate, and this is one of them. And it, as the resolution states, that it is an opportunity for those inmates that do qualify to receive their GED. We're happy to offer that. It is totally grant funded, and it allows for a teacher to be available at the jail. There would be classroom instruction, also the preparation work, and then individual counseling if that is needed for the individual tutoring for the those that are participating. One of the things, the teacher is also an employee of the county. So what we had to do was, in all full disclosure, is to have an LLC created, and that's what we have done. And we have just revamped the title, and she is now a consultant, so that there's no interference with her employment with the county as well. And that's what the resolution here is for, to just allow a contract between Lawrence County and Together Forward GED LLC to do the GED preparation and instruction services for the inmates at the Lawrence County Corrections Facility.
And as you noted, Loretta, this grant did come from the Pennsylvania
Yes.
Commission on Crime and Delinquency out of Harrisburg, and the grant amount is $22,672.26. And I do appreciate your giving us all of the details that go along with this. I'll see if my colleague, Mr. Kennedy, has any questions. Thank you, Dan. Commissioner Sanada, anything?
Thank you.
Okay, well, we have proposed resolution 329. Would one of you care to make a motion for its approval?
I move we accept resolution 329.
I'll second that.
Thank you, gentlemen. Are there any other questions or concerns? And if not, I'll ask Vanessa to call the roll, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Sure.
As we always say, you're
Yes.
welcome to stay, but I'm sure you have
I will
things
head
to do
across the street. Thank you
So
so much.
it's good to see you, Loretta.
Yes, always.
Take care.
Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, you too. Bye-bye. Mr. Grippo is with us.
Foxy.
Always. I have to say.
We need to
That's
get him a
right,
name-
Dan,
we need to
shake
get
your
him a
head.
name-
He's always
nameplate,
here.
right? His own nameplate. Good morning, Mike.
Morning.
You've got two resolutions for us, and you've given us the supporting documents. Are these both renewals, Mike, or are they?
No, one's new.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, we'll start with, thank you, and we'll start with number 330, which is Advantage Independent Living out of Whitehaven, Pennsylvania, which is Luzerne County, and I believe this is the new one.
Yes.
So I'll let
this is the new one.
you fill us in.
Okay, basically, this is nothing more than a backup, and this is why we get these in case of situations we need them. There must have been at one time a situation where we needed them, but we ended up placing someone else, and finally OCYF approved them, and that's why I'm here now. So,
So you're recommending on the first one that we do give our approval to this
Yeah,
proposed
yeah.
contract. Let me see if Commissioner Sanada has any questions for you.
That was pretty thorough.
Thank you, Chris. Commissioner Kennedy?
I'm good.
Okay. How about, since one's new and one's a renewal, if you don't mind, we'll take them separate.
That's fine.
And may I have a motion for number 330?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Dan. Is there a second?
I second.
Mr. Sanada offers the second. Any discussion? If not, we'll take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you, Vanessa. Number 331 is an organization known as Concern Professional Services for Children, Youth, and Families based out of Fleetwood, Pennsylvania, which is in Berks County. Mr. Grippo, what can you tell us about this organization?
all right, this is a foster care. They've been with us for a while, contracted with them. Basically, we've only had one child in there from 22, 24. We currently don't have any. And the last thing, if you look back at the rate sheet, the last page, you could see where the asking price, the third from the right, and what we actually settled, the 24.25 per diem. The director negotiated down from like 17% down to 8%, stuff like that. And they agreed on that, so that's what we approved to go forward.
Thank you. Mr. Kennedy, any questions for Mike?
No, I'm good.
Thank you. Mr. Sanada?
I move we accept the resolution.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you both, gentlemen. This is number 331. It's been moved and seconded. If there are no other questions, could we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Mike, these documents are always very helpful. I want to thank you for putting those together, giving us all the specifics.
It helps me too when I go through.
Yeah, good way to have a record of it and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, thanks.
Anything else for us?
Nope,
All
I
righty.
might be back, well, not next week, in 2 weeks. I think I have one, maybe two more, hopefully that's it.
That's
We
fine.
give you 2 weeks to take a rest.
I was gonna say that too will turn into 5.
So, yeah, it's winding down.
That's
It's
great.
winding down.
Thanks, Mike.
I appreciate your joining us.
You're welcome.
Have a great day. Next on our agenda would be proposed resolution 332. And this is a budget amendment that we have to consider. It looks as though I'm assuming the district attorney's office,
Yes, that's correct.
Joe, thank you, received unanticipated revenue from the Drug Enforcement Agency of $15,000. And they are requesting that we earmark that money towards the line item of the overtime line item for the district attorney's office. Joe, anything else we need to know about this one?
No, I think you covered it.
Okay.
Unanticipated revenue, so we have to do a resolution to get it into the budget,
Yes, sir. Make it official.
make it official.
Commissioner Sanada, any questions on this one?
No.
Thank you. Commissioner Kennedy?
No, I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Would one of you care to make a motion for this resolution?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Thank you both, gentlemen. If there are no other questions, we'll take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Motion carries.
Thank you. The next item, number 333, is a proposed resolution dealing with the county solicitor's office. It's a transfer request from within that budget. We're looking at a transfer of $3,750 coming from contracted services into the special counsel line item. Any questions, gentlemen, on this one? Hearing none, may I have a motion?
I move we accept the resolution.
I'll second.
Thank you both. Could we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Vanessa.
You're welcome.
We have a number of administrative transfers. I'll read through them and please stop me if you have any questions. And then when we get to the end, we can either take one motion to cover everything, or if you need to split it out in any way, we can do likewise. So once again, please interrupt me if you have to. District Judge Russo is asking for a $75 transfer from within his budget, coming from materials and supplies going into association dues. This next one had me just a little bit puzzled, not in terms of what they're asking for, but it says the department is the courts. You'll notice the signature is Mary Kelly, who is domestic relations. So I'm a little confused if this is, I'm gonna guess it's for domestic
Yeah,
relations.
it should be domestic.
Okay, so we'll just note that it does, and they do fall under the courts.
They do.
But I'm gonna write in here courts/domestic relations, if you gentlemen don't mind.
Dan, I believe it is for domestic specifically because Mary called me and made
Okay.
sure that this was on the agenda. so.
Okay, good. So we'll note that for the record. The transfer request comes from within that budget. They're asking for a $950 transfer coming from travel and training, going into their telephone internet line item. As we've talked at numerous meetings, there were some increases that we weren't aware that were going to be happening when we made the budget almost a year ago. This accounts for that. Falling under the commissioners' line items, we're looking at a request of $1,123.71 coming from central services miscellaneous administrative expenses and transferring it into the central services telephone line item. Also under the commissioners, we're looking at transfers as follows: $3,500 from commissioners' contracted services,
That's correct.
going into Commissioners' Travel and Training, and then $2,000 moving from Commissioners' Contracted Services into Commissioners' Association dues. The District Attorney's Office is asking for the following, coming all within his budget, coming from the Staples line item, $175.30 into materials and supplies. From the line item of travel expense prisoner, $4,000 into vehicle expense, and then finally $16 coming from the toxicology line item into vehicle expense. The total amount of the transfer is $4,191.30. Also under the district attorney, we're looking at a request coming from travel and training, $1,186.27 into vehicle expense. And then again, from the district attorney's office, from within his budget, a transfer of $150 coming from maintenance and repairs into postage. And then the county treasurer's office is asking for the following from within his budget, $500 coming from contingency into materials and supplies, and then also $1,500 coming from the treasurer's contingency line item into contracted services. That concludes the transfer requests. Mr. Kennedy, any concerns? Okay, thank you. And Mr. Sanada, would one of you then care to make a motion to approve all of the requests?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Thank you both, gentlemen. Take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. A couple of announcements, and a couple of these are not listed. I do want to note that on November 11, which is a Monday, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that's Veterans Day. So the courthouse will be closed on Monday, November 11. The commissioners will conduct, our next meeting will actually be 2 weeks from today on Tuesday, November 12 at 10 a.m. in this room. It's open to the public. Next Tuesday, the courthouse will be open from 8 to 4. However, the commissioners traditionally do not meet on election day. We'll be here, but we will not have a public meeting. I've been advised that Board of Elections, which consists of the three of us, will convene on Monday, November 4 at 10 a.m. in this room. It's a public meeting. The legal ad has not yet gone out, but we anticipate that it will prior to that meeting. And we also anticipate that Mr. Germaini will notify the Democratic and Republican county committee chairs of that meeting. The retirement board, which consists of the three commissioners, the county controller, Mr. Prestipine, county treasurer, Mr. Rapone, our quarterly meeting, open to the public, will be held on Tuesday, November 12, immediately following the commissioners' public meeting in this room. The County Planning Commission is currently scheduled to meet on Wednesday, November 13 at noon. That meeting will be held at the Union Township Municipal Building. And this will be the second notification of three openings. The listing on our agenda says vacancy, but I think it'd be better to call them openings. As of December 31, the one opening will be on the Lawrence County Industrial Development Authority. The position is currently held by Mr. Darrell Audia. And for the Lawrence County Housing Authority, again, two openings will take place effective December 31 for attorney Leanne Felina, who is from Union Township, and Mr. Kevin Swager, who is from the borough of Elwood City. Now, the current incumbents are eligible to be renamed if they are interested, but we also open this up and other people can apply if they so desire. we're governed by an ordinance that stipulates that we have to announce these openings at 2 public meetings. We've now met the letter of that requirement. Those who wish to apply, who are new, can either apply by coming to a public meeting, indicating their interest, or they can send us a letter or an email. But the document must include their social security number, because the ordinance requires that we do a background check. We will be very, very prudent in terms of, once we have that social security number, we'll black it out once we've been able to utilize it for the background check. Those are the announcements that I have. We were also going to point out that today, Tuesday, by law, we have to remain open an extra hour. Courthouse, for this purpose, anybody coming in to conduct business with the voter services office. All other offices will close at 4 o'clock, that's my understanding. But the law stipulates that the week before the election, the voter services offices must remain open until 5 o'clock. And today is the last day to apply for a mail-in ballot. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Which means that it's also the last day a person can physically come here and secure their ballot and actually cast their ballot physically here, and then it gets turned back to the voter services office. It is not tabulated until 8 o'clock on election night. The law does not allow us to tabulate anything before 8 o'clock p.m. Next Tuesday. But today is the last day for that to happen. Now, gentlemen, have I missed anything?
I think, to your knowledge, you've been very thorough, Chairman. It's just that I think, we want to stress that point. Mr. Jermaine, his staff, they're following the law to the T. And after 5 o'clock today, if you come in tomorrow, he cannot give you a mail-in ballot application because the deadline is tonight. We've had a lot of people come and they've requested the mail-in. They were handed the mail-in. They actually voted here, put it back in the envelope, and handed it back to Mr. Germani or his staff, and then it went into the, what do you call it, the bin. It cannot be open till after election day. So, he's been doing it, and the staff's done a really good job to try to be as efficient as possible. But we just want to stress that, because if someone comes tomorrow, he doesn't have the legal authority to be able to give you a mail-in ballot. And that's because of the state law. So we just want to stress that point. I think you were very thorough, and we just can't stress that enough. I know there was an article in today's paper that pretty much said what you did, Chairman. So we just want everyone to understand that, Mr. Germani doesn't have that legal authority to give it to you tomorrow. So.
No, and I appreciate your reinforcing that. We'd ask everybody just to keep in mind that Mr. Germani, the people working with him in that office, as well as all of the people at the polling places next Tuesday, the folks that work there at all 75 polling locations. None of us make these rules. These rules come out of Harrisburg, and we have to abide by them. So if you're not inclined to like those rules or agree with them, don't take it out on the folks in the office, because they have not made these rules. They're simply following these rules. Given all of that, Mr. Kennedy, do you have anything you wish to add?
No, just that Tim and his staff, they've been working hours. He kept us thinking he wasn't going to be ready for everything, but again, they're 100% ready to go. So, good people.
Yep, they've done a tremendous job. They've been here on weekends, and they're working very, very hard. So our thanks to them. Well, for public comment, the room is right now empty. So that will lead to closing comments from my fellow commissioners, and I'll start with Mr. Sanada.
No, I think we've covered everything. Forward to, in 2 weeks, will be our next meeting, so I know we have a lot in between. I appreciate the efforts of everyone up here. Like you said, what's been happening with the election process and everything between it. Especially I should give actually shout outs to Sheriff Polero and his staff too, and Chad 911. I think they've been coordinating everything. We want this to be the most smoothest election as we did in the primary. I was the first time as election board member, and I was very impressed with the operation and how everything was handled. And I know that all precautions, everything that can be taken is going into this. So, with our working with the sheriff, working with the 911 center, and Chad, and working with everyone here at the government center, I think we're going to have a nice, smooth process. So, thank you.
Thanks very much, Chris. Commissioner Kennedy, any closing remarks?
No, I'm good.
Okay, thank you, sir. To Joe and Vanessa, we appreciate all the work you put into organizing these meetings for us. Anything we've maybe neglected?
No, sir.
No, I think we're caught up then.
Yes.
Well, we thank everybody for joining us today, and again, we will meet as the Board of Commissioners in 2 weeks, but we will also meet as the Board of Elections next Monday at 10 a.m. in this room, and that is open to the public. There being no other business to be brought before this board, could I please have an adjournment motion?
I move we adjourn.
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you. I forgot to say, I've got Debbie's packet. I'll put this up in the, underneath the counter for Debbie. Okay.
That was efficient.